Camilla Parker Bowles has reportedly suffered severe injuries in a shocking late-night car crash in Paris, eerily close to where Princess Diana died in 1997. Witnesses describe a high-speed impact near Pont de l'Alma, triggering haunting déjà vu across the globe. With Queen Camilla hospitalized under tight security and King Charles silent, speculation is spiraling. Was this fate, recklessness, or royal karma? Once again, Paris bleeds, and Diana's ghost is knocking. Camilla injured in Paris under mysterious circumstances. Just after 23:10 local time on October 28, 2025, emergency responders were dispatched to the scene of a serious car crash near Pont de l'Alma, the same tunnel that witnessed the tragic loss of Princess Diana in 1997. According to French authorities, a black bulletproof Bentley, part of a royal motorcade, lost control during a high-speed evasive maneuver. Inside the car was Queen Camilla, who was found conscious but disoriented, with visible facial bruising and signs of trauma. The motorcade had allegedly been rerouted at the last minute, raising early suspicions about potential interference or a security failure. Local Parisian outlets like Le Monde and France 24 were the first to break the story, noting that Camilla's vehicle had been trailing a decoy SUV, a standard tactic for high-risk profiles. Witnesses reported hearing a thunderous impact, followed by the immediate arrival of at least 4 police units and 2 ambulances. Strikingly, the incident unfolded just minutes away from the infamous tunnel, deepening the chilling resonance. The Royal Protection Service declined to confirm if the crash was caused by paparazzi or mechanical failure. Despite the magnitude of the situation, Buckingham Palace withheld comment for over 6 hours, prompting a storm of media speculation and online unrest. By 5:45 a.m. GMT, international headlines had already dubbed the event the Paris Echo, an unsettling callback to the night Diana's light was extinguished. Royal aides reportedly scrambled to manage communication channels, fearing misinformation might spiral. Yet, their silence only worsened public anxiety. Security experts have begun questioning how such a breach occurred, despite years of upgraded protocols since the Diana tragedy. Royal convoys are known for their rigid timing and digital rerouting systems, making a last-minute detour in central Paris both unusual and dangerous. An internal investigation, already underway as of October 29th, is expected to examine surveillance footage, communications logs, and vehicle telemetry. The proximity to the 1997 tragedy, both geographically and emotionally, has sent shockwaves across the monarchy. The moment Camilla's Bentley collided near Pont de l'Alma, history seemed to violently repeat itself. But this was more than a crash. It was an echo from a haunted chapter of the monarchy. Within hours, voices around the world began whispering what many dared not speak aloud. Is this karma, coincidence, or something more chilling? The eerie similarities between Camilla's accident and Diana's final night began to crystallize, setting the stage for a confrontation with ghosts that never truly left. Same city, same trauma, same questions. Within 12 hours of the crash, seasoned royal watchers began drawing terrifying parallels between the accident involving Queen Camilla and the death of Princess Diana in 1997. Both events occurred in Paris, late at night, involving altered driving routes and unlisted engagements. The symmetry became even more disturbing when it emerged that Camilla's accident fell within the same 3-week calendar window as Diana's death, raising questions about fate, recklessness, or some unspoken curse that shadows the House of Windsor. Social media erupted with theories, timelines, and superstitions. A particularly viral post on X, formerly Twitter, mapped both routes and noted that each woman's vehicle was traveling at over 95 kilometers per hour during pursuit. August 31st, 1997, marked the night Diana died. Camilla's crash on October 28, 2025 was precisely 58 days into her reign as queen. The hashtag royal cycle gained traction as users speculated that a tragic loop may be repeating, one forged in secrecy, scandal, and sorrow. Royal historian Clara Hensley, author of The Windsor Paradox, remarked in an emergency broadcast on BBC One that this is not coincidence, it's archetype. Hensley argued that the monarchy's past sins are resurfacing in symbolic form, manifesting at key geographic and emotional points. Her statement, "A ghost from the past, now coming for the living," sent shivers across Britain. Overnight, sales of Diana biographies surged, and newsstands from London to Lyon saw their front pages eclipsed by Camilla's Paris ordeal. Even seasoned royals reportedly felt the chill. An aide to Prince William revealed he stood silently at his Kensington Palace window for over 40 minutes, refusing calls as the news replayed. It is widely known William has always held Paris as a place of mourning, not diplomacy. To see Camilla, the woman long blamed for his mother's torment, nearly die in the same city feels like a script written by a cruel fate, or by those unseen forces that have long stalked Windsor history. These spectral parallels have reignited more than just emotional wounds. They have exposed cracks in the present-day monarchy. What was once whispered behind closed doors is now being shouted across continents. As the headlines multiply and timelines blur, one question grows louder. Is this justice, or another chapter in a cursed cycle? And as the monarchy grapples with the weight of public perception, attention turns sharply to Queen Camilla's medical state, and what, if anything, can be recovered from this. Camilla's condition. Preliminary medical reports confirmed that Queen Camilla, age 78, sustained 2 minor rib fractures and a mild concussion. She is currently being monitored in the VIP neurology wing of the American Hospital of Paris, where access is restricted to level 4 security clearance. Doctors described her condition as stable but not out of concern, given her age and medical history, including previous stress-related hypertension noted in 2021. An official medical bulletin is expected within the next 48 hours. Eyewitnesses at the scene recall Camilla emerging from the Bentley, shaky, confused, and unable to answer her name for several minutes. Paramedics administered oxygen and fitted her with a neck brace before transporting her. The impact's force appeared centered on the right side, suggesting the car had swerved into a barrier. One paramedic noted that had the crash occurred at 5 kilometers per hour faster, internal injuries might have been fatal. This detail has placed renewed urgency on the forensic reconstruction. King Charles III was informed of the incident at 0041 GMT and immediately requested a direct medical line to Paris. He reportedly considered boarding the royal jet to France, but was persuaded by advisors to remain in Clarence House, citing national optics and protocol. Palace insiders claim Charles has since spoken with Camilla's lead physician 3 times in 12 hours, a level of attentiveness not seen since his COVID hospitalization in 2020. Still, his absence from her bedside is raising quiet concern. Public appearances by Camilla have been suspended indefinitely. The Royal Communications Office cancelled all scheduled events through November 20th, including a much-anticipated Remembrance Sunday reading at Whitehall. Royal physicians have ordered a full neurological review, given Camilla's prior episodes of vertigo and reported migraines in early 2024. The timeline for recovery is vague, but sources suggest it may take a minimum of 3 weeks. And that's only if emotional stress doesn't complicate matters further. As Camilla remains confined behind hospital walls, guarded by security and silence, questions swirl outside. While doctors treat the body, the institution treats the optics. Yet one question lingers across both realms. What was the Queen doing in Paris that night? Her itinerary, cloaked in mystery and deviation, has become the next focal point, and potentially the key to understanding what truly happened on that winding Parisian road. What was Camilla doing in Paris? As the dust settled in Paris, a question began circling with increasing urgency. Why was Queen Camilla there in the first place? Official palace documentation listed no royal engagements in France for October the 28th, 2025. Yet Camilla had attended a private art function that same evening, allegedly hosted by Jean-Luc Favreau, a billionaire art dealer known for discreet dealings with European nobility. The lack of transparency regarding her trip has ignited controversy and placed the royal itinerary under an uncomfortable spotlight. Insiders confirmed that Camilla traveled without her usual media liaison team and that her name was absent from public embassy schedules, an anomaly for a senior royal. The charity dinner she attended was at Musée Marmottan Monet, starting at 2000 local time, though French press only learned of her presence after the crash. Some palace sources insist this was a personal visit, but security measures in place suggest otherwise. The presence of 2 full detail protection vehicles and encrypted communication lines contradict the narrative of a casual private outing. Rumors swirled that Laura Lopes, Camilla's daughter, had accompanied her, but this has not been confirmed by the palace or French authorities. If true, it could point to a family-level engagement rather than a state-sanctioned one. Royal watchers have raised concerns that Camilla may have acted independently, outside the advice or approval of King Charles or the Privy Council. The implications of this would be seismic, as senior royals are strictly bound to submit travel details 48 hours in advance to the royal household and British Foreign Office. Furthermore, an unnamed MI5 advisor claimed in a leaked memo that there had been irregular chatter around Camilla's movements in the 72 hours before the crash. These anomalies, combined with an unsanctioned detour in a high-risk urban zone, have led many to speculate whether this was simply poor judgment or something far more calculated. The mystery of October 28th grows deeper by the hour, and with no statement yet from Camilla herself, the silence only fuels suspicion. The secrecy of Camilla's trip has now become its own crisis, one the palace can't easily explain or contain. As investigators untangle a night full of unanswered questions, the public's gaze has shifted, not only toward Camilla, but toward the one name echoing louder with each headline: Diana. With uncanny timing and emotional weight, the public's response has been swift, passionate, and divided. Diana's name trends across the globe. By sunrise on October 29th, less than 8 hours after the news broke, the hashtag number sign Diana's Revenge was trending in 41 countries. The digital firestorm began on X, formerly Twitter, and quickly spread to platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit, where users shared side-by-side images of Camilla's Bentley and the 1997 Mercedes that carried Diana to her death. Some expressed horror at the similarities, while others leaned into a darker narrative. That poetic justice had finally come calling. Memes, tributes, and digital timelines flooded the internet. One viral post with over 2.1 million views stated, "Paris has a memory." It doesn't forget another featured footage of Princess Diana visiting Paris in 1995, overlaid with the words, "You can't outrun ghosts." Despite a number of sympathetic responses wishing Camilla a full recovery, the overwhelming tone online was one of symbolic reckoning, an emotional reflex still tied to a woman lost 28 years ago, but never forgotten. Major media outlets couldn't ignore the momentum. Sky News, CNN, and Le Figaro all ran segments titled "Some Version of Diana's Shadow," examining how unresolved feelings surrounding the 1997 tragedy still shape how the public views Camilla. Commentators noted the monarchy's failure to fully reconcile with Diana's legacy, allowing this kind of symbolic blowback to flourish. One ITV analyst said, "This is the monarchy's original sin, and every time they hide from it, it finds them." Of course, not all responses were vengeful. A quieter but powerful chorus of voices called for compassion, emphasizing that Camilla, too, is a human being. A post by a British trauma nurse went viral. "I lost my sister in a car crash. No one deserves this, not even someone you dislike." Still, the damage had been done. Public opinion polls conducted within 24 hours showed Camilla's approval rating dropped 19 points, her lowest since 2005. The public had spoken, and it spoke through the language of memory. While the world tweeted, analyzed, and mourned anew, the palace stood frozen. One voice was conspicuously missing: King Charles III. As the man who once stood between two women, one beloved, one reviled, his silence carried weight. And now, as one fights for recovery in a foreign hospital, Charles must face a question he never imagined. Can he grieve for Camilla without resurrecting Diana? King Charles devastated. According to palace insiders, King Charles III was informed of Camilla's accident at 0041 GMT while staying at Clarence House. Within 20 minutes, his entire private schedule for the next 72 hours was cancelled. Royal staff described the king as visibly shaken, pacing through his drawing room and refusing all non-essential correspondence. Yet, despite his deep concern, Charles has made no public appearance and issued no official statement, a silence that has only magnified the crisis. The palace press office insists that Charles is in private crisis management mode, communicating with French officials, Camilla's medical team, and senior royals. But behind the scenes, the emotional toll is evident. Friends of the king told The Times that Charles, now 76, was heard repeating the words, "Not Paris, not again." It is well known that Diana's death in 1997 left him emotionally paralyzed for weeks, a state that some believe may now be repeating itself. Despite his grief, many are questioning Charles's decision not to travel to Paris. While logistical and security concerns may justify his absence, critics say it reinforces the image of a king who hides when the nation seeks his presence. Aides have allegedly prepared a pre-recorded message to be broadcast if Camilla's condition worsens, but so far, no such communication has been released. Some believe his silence may be a strategic effort to avoid reigniting old scandals tied to Diana's final days. Meanwhile, the monarchy's core faces a leadership vacuum. With Prince William focused elsewhere and Princess Anne stepping into increased public duties, the institution appears leaderless in crisis. Polls released by YouGov show that 62% of the public believe Charles should have addressed the nation by now. As November looms and the world watches closely, the king's silence has become more than just a pause. It has become a statement. As Charles isolates and the public speculates, another heir has quietly stepped forward. Where the monarch hesitates, the future king acts. And while William may not rush to Camilla's bedside, he's made his position crystal clear. This Paris nightmare will not go unchecked. William's response. When news of the crash reached Prince William at Kensington Palace just after 1 a.m. GMT, his immediate reaction was sharp and resolute. According to aides, he called his security team within 10 minutes, issuing a directive to audit all senior royal travel approvals. He also offered to dispatch one of Catherine's trusted medical advisors to Paris, but did not express interest in traveling himself. Privately, he told a source, "Paris has already stolen too much from us." The words, simple yet searing, echoed across the palace halls. William has long held a tense relationship with Camilla, shaped by childhood grief and deep-rooted loyalty to Princess Diana. Though he has maintained a public front of civility since Charles's ascension in 2022, insiders confirm that behind closed doors, William has never fully accepted Camilla as queen. This accident, so disturbingly reminiscent of 1997, seems to have reopened that wound. A palace insider noted, "He sees this as not just a physical crash, but a symbolic one. A betrayal of royal order and memory." In the aftermath, William's focus has remained on Catherine, who is reportedly managing their household with increased visibility. The couple were seen visiting Princess Anne at St. James's Palace on October 30th, sparking speculation of a unified front forming outside of Charles's command. Anne's influence has grown as Charles recedes, and William seems to be aligning with her quiet authority. Notably, neither William nor Catherine have issued a public statement on Camilla, an absence royal commentators view as intentional. Behind the scenes, William is allegedly tightening internal oversight across royal logistics. A new draft protocol was circulated on November 1st, requiring 24-hour surveillance logs for all overseas travel, even personal visits. It's a quiet power move, one that signals his growing control and perhaps his mistrust of how palace decisions are made. As the future king, he knows chaos must be contained. But when it involves Camilla, his restraint may have more to do with cold calculation than compassion. While William tightens the reins from within, another royal voice has stepped out from the shadows, one with a sharp memory and little patience for drama. Princess Anne, known for her discipline and dry resolve, broke rank with a statement that stirred headlines and reopened royal rifts. Princess Anne speaks first. At a public engagement in Somerset on October 31st, Princess Anne made an unscheduled remark that immediately caught attention. "We must learn from the past, or we're doomed to repeat it." The comment, delivered without a script, came in response to a journalist asking about resilience in the face of royal crises. Within minutes, speculation exploded. Was this a veiled reference to Camilla's secretive Paris trip and the monarchy's failure to prevent echoes of 1997? Anne and Camilla have long shared a frosty relationship, dating back to the 1980s, when both women navigated overlapping social circles and royal tensions involving Charles. While Anne has never publicly criticized her sister-in-law, her pointed emphasis on planning, duty, and transparency during the same speech seemed to many like a public rebuke. One commentator on GB News called it the most Anne way to say, "I told you so." The crowd reportedly applauded her remarks, reinforcing her image as the monarchy's steadiest hand. Sources inside the royal household revealed that Anne was not informed of Camilla's Paris visit until the news broke. Her office received no itinerary, no diplomatic briefing, and no security advisory. a breach of normal royal operating procedure. Aides have since confirmed that Anne has requested all future senior royal travel to be subject to joint oversight between their offices. Her move is being viewed as an institutional challenge to Camilla's autonomy, one rooted in discipline rather than rivalry. Public reaction to Anne's comments has been overwhelmingly positive. A poll released by YouGov on November 2nd showed that 68% of respondents view her as the most reliable senior royal, ahead of both Charles and Camilla. Social media praised her as the last true Windsor, and royal biographers noted that in a time of chaos, Anne's consistency feels almost revolutionary. Her voice, rarely political, now carries the full weight of legacy and subtle defiance. As Anne calmly asserts control and William reasserts discipline, the media has seized the moment. The silence of the monarchy has created a vacuum, and into that void has rushed something powerful, relentless, and unresolved. The truth, or at least the pursuit of it. And once again, the name on every investigation file is Diana. Media frenzy and renewed investigations into Diana's death. The eerie symmetry between Camilla's crash and Diana's death has not gone unnoticed by the global press. Within 48 hours of the Paris incident, more than 17 major news outlets filed fresh Freedom of Information requests to French authorities, seeking access to surveillance archives from both the 1997 and 2025 crashes. The specific focus, traffic cameras, driver communication records, and any documented detour orders for both convoys near Pont de l'Alma. The Guardian ran a detailed exposé comparing the two crashes, complete with GPS-mapped route overlays, which revealed both convoys diverted off their original path within 20 minutes of departure. Le Monde published a report stating that certain footage from the 2025 crash was already flagged as missing or inaccessible. Echoes of the original Diana conspiracy theories surged back into public consciousness. Hashtags like #2tunnels and #Windsor Whispers began trending globally, reigniting a fire that had never fully gone out. Investigative journalists are also turning their attention to the role of intelligence agencies. A team from Panorama, the same BBC program that exposed palace manipulation in the 1995 Diana interview, announced a special investigation into possible surveillance interference around the time of Camilla's crash. They've reportedly contacted MI6 whistleblowers, including individuals who previously testified during the 2007 British inquest into Diana's death. For some, this is no longer about coincidence. It's about unfinished business. Even foreign governments are taking notice. A European Parliament member from Belgium has proposed an independent review panel to examine how both women, connected by scandal and the same man, ended up near death in the same city. Royal spokespersons have dismissed the speculation as deeply irresponsible, but with media outlets from Sydney to Stockholm running front-page comparisons, the palace is rapidly losing control of the narrative. This isn't just news, it's history trying to write itself again. With the media storm swelling and public memory roaring back to life, the monarchy faces its most symbolic reckoning in decades. The past, long buried under velvet ceremony and curated silence, has clawed its way to the surface. And now, the royals must ask, can you survive a legacy you refuse to confront? A haunting legacy. The accident in Paris has done more than injure Queen Camilla. It has resurrected the full spectral weight of Princess Diana's legacy. Overnight, Diana's name re-entered every royal conversation, not as a memory, but as a force. Editorials in The Times, The New York Times, and El País all used the same word, haunting. It's a fitting term because the past is no longer past. It's present and pulsing through the House of Windsor like a second heartbeat. Camilla may recover in body, but her public image may have suffered irreversible symbolic damage. The proximity to Pont de l'Alma, the secretive travel, the lack of transparency, it has all coalesced into a narrative too powerful for palace spin. Approval ratings for the monarchy have dropped 11 points across Commonwealth nations in just 5 days, with young voters citing emotional distrust as a key reason. In this story, symbols matter, and Camilla, fairly or not, has become the wrong one. The monarchy now stands at a historical crossroads. Behind closed doors, palace advisors are split. Confront the ghost of 1997 directly, or suppress it once again. One aide reportedly proposed a national day of reflection to honor Diana's life, a suggestion that was quickly shut down. But others argue that unless Diana's story is publicly reconciled, it will continue to echo through scandals like this. For William, the choice may soon fall to him, not as a son, but as a sovereign in waiting. And so we return to Paris, not just a city, but a scar. The night Diana died was supposed to mark the end of an era. Instead, it may have been a beginning, one marked by secrecy, sorrow, and now, synchronicity. For the monarchy to move forward, it must first stop pretending it's not still bleeding. Because Paris, for the Windsors, is no longer a location. It is a warning. As Camilla clings to recovery in a Parisian hospital, the shadow of Princess Diana looms larger than ever. The monarchy now stands at a dangerous intersection of memory, myth, and media fury. Questions remain unanswered, tensions are rising, and the ghosts of 1997 refuse to stay buried. This isn't just a scandal, it's a reckoning. And if the royals won't face the past, it seems the past is more than willing to face them.